Welcome to the Small Talk Podcast. I'm Mike Smallegan. Today we're with Megan, who's the brand manager for both The Foolery, which is where we're at today, and Social Misfits. So thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. So glad for the opportunity to come out
and great.
Highlight our new spaces here, our new space here, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having us in. So the Social Misfits is a waffles, cocktails, and coffee restaurant here at downtown Grand Rapids, and The Foolery, which is a fine dive bar recently launched right across the street from the Vandals. So for our listeners, we got a special treat. Stick around to the end. We're going to be giving away a gift card to each of the restaurants here at the end. So there's going to be a keyword that you have to listen to and then subscribe to our channel. Thanks for being on the podcast today.
Yeah, my pleasure. I guess we can start right into some Social Misfits and Foolery stuff. Have you been to Social Misfits yourself? We've been open.
I've been to Social Misfits. So we were here. I had Love Me Tender, which is like waffles and bananas and syrup and everything like in one.
Peanut butter bacon, yep.
Bacon.
Yep, kind of rip off of Elvis Presley's Love Me Tender. Yes, that was, that's been one of our top sellers for a minute. But yeah, so Social Misfits, we just opened. We just celebrated our 2-year anniversary just this past December. And so we're coming up into our 3rd year here. And The Foolery, we just opened, ironically, the same exact Monday, 2 years to the date, which was unplanned. It was the 18th this year. It was the 20th 2 years ago. So we were just so happy that it all ended up happening around the same time, because we very much had experience opening right in the midst of a holiday, which was unplanned, but it kind of worked more in our favor, I guess, because we had that experience previously with Social Misfits. So
Social Misfits is a really unique waffle spot, right?
Yes.
And what was the inspiration behind that? How did that idea come about?
Yeah, so Social Misfits, Spencer Raymond is the owner. Little bit of backstory about him for those who might not be familiar. Might have seen him in some press before. His whole background is hospitality management. He graduated from Michigan State, got his bachelor's in hospitality management there. He resides in Heartland area. He has family that's in Rockford area, so he grew up spending all of his summers in Grand Rapids, kind of nostalgic for him as a kid. And when he had decided this was his time to go 2 years ago, he said, the first place, if I ever open up a place, I want it to be in Grand Rapids. I love the city. I love everything encompassing it. And he feels like Grand Rapids is very welcoming in the sense of kind of trial and error, kind of experimenting. He thinks it's a great city to dive in and do that stuff with. And there's just a lot of love and support and feedback that you'll gather along the way and meet a lot of really cool people. So he actually was a former franchise owner of a concept called Grab a Green Food and Juice.
Okay.
Very small scale, probably would not have heard of it. It is raw juices, salad smoothies, almost like a Freshie or a Beyond Juice in eatery. And he signed on in 2017 as his first kind of into entrepreneurship into the industry. And I feel like a lot of people might be steered that same way. Hey, you're going to go in restaurants. Franchising's the way to go, right? So some people had guided him towards that route. Blessing in disguise, I should say, that the corporate and very structured brand menu from what promotions you're supposed to run, right? In chains, you always see Starbucks rolls out, oh, they're pumpkin spice all at the same time. If they're doing a giveaway or a special month of something, it's very restrictive on what you can do in your individual location, which Spencer quickly found out that it was working more against him than allowing him to be proactive and optimistic. And so there is a management service that owned the brand, and he kind of felt himself kind of almost coming head to head. A lot of times, instead of being more optimistic, it was kind of beating him down. So he had this more or less feeling of they're trying to tell him how to run his business and selling. You should be having your staff do this, sell this way, read this way, present your products this way. And he felt it was kind of fake. He said it was kind of false. It kind of made me feel like, almost like it's like I want to be the anti-hero. He constantly references like the Dexters and the Walter Whites and Tony Sopranos, where kind of feel misfitty, doing wrong things, but for the right intentions, right? Kind of being that misfit in its own way, where he kind of felt, I'm not trying to be rebellious. I'm not trying to go against the grain, but I'm trying to even help them see a different perspective on how they could elevate and take their brand. So it was actually a very long workshop meeting he got out of, and he said he literally had a napkin in his car and started writing down anti-hero and misfits and outcasts and social misfits, and so I want to switch this culture. I want to build my own place that I can control the menu, the products I put out, be transparent with my customers on where their food is coming from, right? On where the brand is, and me as the owner. And long behold, Social Misfits was born. So if you scroll back down in some of their first early press releases we did, and even early social posts, we kind of reference it all started with a napkin, because there's a picture of a napkin where he literally, had written this down. And so with that intent of making a place, Social Misfits, of being this welcoming refuge for all, for anyone who kind of ever felt like they've never quite found their way, to have anyone and anyone encompassing with those same like mindset into a space. He took it a step further and put elements into the actual menu creation, which he had consulted with a chef that owns a couple spots out in Austin, Texas, was put in his ear, oh, this is a great guy you should be doing work with. And Spencer came up with all the, like you mentioned, Love Me Tender earlier, came up with the little elements of the names, and as far as ingredients, of the meanings behind our first debut of waffles. And a lot of them still sit on our menu today because they've just gotten so much love and really great respect and understanding. And I'll give you what I mean behind that is little insights. The dope one, Albert Einstein, our logo, one of the most iconic Misfits of all time. He had a nickname of being dopey or dope because he really lagged learning, comprehending when he was growing up. And he had an infatuation with asparagus and mushrooms. So he had his own farm where he grew them and did a lot of science things where he really grew a love for them. So one of our top waffles that stays on the savory side today, the dope one, has asparagus and porcini mushroom sauce, and it's called the dope one. And so with that said, there's a couple of other waffles that are very similar, and the ingredients as well as the name all have a little bit underlying meaning that's not very straight out forward. So it kind of intrigues you a little bit, hoping to entice people to like, what is that? Oh, I know Elvis Presley, but why this? Or I know Old Blue Eyes, Frank Sinatra's nickname, but why the ingredients? So I feel like that was really fun to play into that with the menu development and get that out to the community of Grand Rapids before we even opened. I think that was a lot of good hype that kind of helped it.
It definitely was. I think, sounds like he started the restaurant because he wanted more control, and he also was listening to the public here and what they wanted in a restaurant, and kind of made something more tailored to the city of Grand Rapids, which I think Grand Rapids as a whole is definitely a foodie community, and everybody wants to try the new thing. And I think that every one of the menu items is going to look new to most people because it's not like other places, right?
Correct. And that's where you have, most people would think, oh, the waffles, oh, a sweet waffle, I get syrup with cream butter. It's like, no, they're sweet and savory. And then taking it one step further and kind of misfitting, oh, you can get them for dinner? What? You're open 7 days a week, anytime you want. And at first we're not really sure how it was going to be perceived. If we're like, okay, is it going to affect us in a way? We're going to see, everyone for breakfast, but it's really benefited. And then with the cocktails and coffee aspect, Spencer has also had, regimen coffee, who doesn't drink coffee, right?
Sure.
He's also had a soft spot for when he travels, kind of visiting those local coffee businesses that are mom and pop, wants to know where they got started, how they got there into the craft, and what's their specialty, and kind of stories behind that. And then cocktail is the same thing, whereas he's like, who doesn't appreciate a good speakeasy or a good, really crafted cocktail lounge that's just so adamant on everything developing from the presentation to how it's described in the same way that food is. So he's those are three of his things that he's really brought to the menu with Social Misfits.
So adding cocktails in, was that in the original plan, or was that something kind of thought of later?
Nope, that was in the original plan with Social Misfits. Yep, that was all a part of it. Waffle specifically, background there, he has 2 sons and a daughter, and his middle son, I think he's about 7 now, Grayson, he actually mentioned this to us before the concept was evolved. Like, my son is a very picky eater, and he only wants waffles, and we're as a dad on the go, we're gonna constantly have Eggo waffles, or where are we gonna find a good spot? We don't have Waffle Houses here in Michigan, right? So where am I gonna find a good Belgian style waffle that my picky son is able to eat with really good unique twists and embed of there? So that's kind of why the waffle element started after being a dad with his son there. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So recently you opened up the Foolery, which is a unique spot also, which is where we're at right now.
Yes.
What was the idea behind that?
So I kind of like how I kind of noted in press, almost like sibling to Social Misfits, in a sense that we have kind of brought in some of those misfit elements, but we actually weren't aware at the time Wahlburgers had kind of closed abruptly. And we have been at the space next door in Residence Inn, for the 2 years. And we actually, I don't know if you remember this, but opened the same time.
Yeah.
We actually had the same contractors on both of our spaces for renovating and build out. And it was almost like a race, like, well, can we borrow them? Can we borrow them? Who's going to get done first? We had like the same projected opening date. They actually won. They got a little bit ahead of us. They opened in October of 2022 or 2021, and we opened in December. Was projected late summer, but when they, when it was told to us that they were going to be closing, Spencer's the kind of guy where he's got, folders of concepts and ideas specific to hospitality industry, his passion, tucked away for a rainy day more or less. So he was like, okay, what's one of these that I can make a reality? Like, okay, we got this space, let's snag it. And it only makes sense, not only for the sense of being in the same building, but space actually in Social Misfits, if you haven't been there before, and the layout is very intimate, and that was always the intention. But we've ran into problems with issues of not even having enough space for our product for the volume we're cranking out. So we were like, oh, a space for an extra walk-in. This is amazing. And now we can serve larger groups and parties and stuff like that we've never been able to do over there. So we jumped on this. He kind of, pulled out one of his visions that he had, in Detroit style pizza was one of those. And it really just made sense for the city to bring that to next door to Social Misfits.
Yeah. So how does he come up with the names for the pizzas that are on the menu? I see the East Beast and Large Marge. There's lots of great names on the pizza menu also.
Yes, that's actually collaboration between us as teams. So I give my insights. There's a lot of weekly recurring meetings with operations and marketing that coincide. Initially, we have our chef consultant that helped kind of bring these elements together. So it's like a big collaboration with meetings, and we're kind of all doing our own back-end research when Spencer kind of gives his vision of stuff, and we kind of throw all those together and just vote on them. Really, we have Slack, we use it, and we're like, hey, we're thinking this, here's the ingredients. Let's all, who likes this name for the best, kind of goes with the fine dive element that we're trying to achieve in the brand, and that's kind of how that stuff forms.
So what happens first typically? Is it the ingredients and what the pizza is going to actually have on it?
Yes.
Or the name?
The ingredients, definitely. And same thing with the waffles. I think there was, actually waffles are a little bit different because there were the people that were inspired and then the ingredients came. So I guess here would be opposite, because it was the ingredients and then the names kind of came after that here.
Interesting.
Bigger picture, Misfit Joints is our hospitality group. So that's kind of like, we kind of made that good announcement after we opened this with press of, we have our coffee shop in Ann Arbor. I don't know if you saw that, or
no.
We opened that in March. So this is like our official third concept. Because he's more native to the Ann Arbor side of, he's in Heartland area.
Okay.
So he has a coffee shop out there. We just opened in March.
What's the coffee shop called?
It's called Misfit Society Coffee Club.
Okay.
So it's kind of long, but with the Misfit, that was our second Misfit concept. And then this actually, we had consulted with some brand developers that kind of helped us with the name, because we kind of wanted to have fun. So I think the Foolery kind of came out of like tomfoolery, mischief, kind of a little play on like kind of fun kind of environment there with it. But it was funny because we originally, Spencer had wanted stuff, that's Spencer over there, the owner, but he had wanted Misfits. He's like, okay, if I'm going to have this Misfit, group, does Misfit have to be in the name? So we originally were going to call this Misfit Squared, because we thought, okay, pizza, Misfit Squared pizza. And then we're like, no, we feel like it's going to be too meshed. People are going to go, oh, are they the same? We felt like this needed our own identity. People are like, oh, can I get there? What I can get there? What's different about it? So we took it out of the name and came up with kind of the Foolery, and then pizza and bar kind of playing off each other. So
are both restaurants open the same time?
We are this right now is closed Tuesday, but we're striving for both to be open, or Social Misfits 7 days a week. But yes, pretty much this is actually open an hour later. So we're open till 11 during the week, and then midnight on Fridays and Saturdays, whereas Social Misfits kitchen wraps up at 10 during the week, and then 11 Fridays, Saturdays. And this is a bar, so naturally I feel like that late night element is what we're hoping for anyways, and that late night push to be open later than there. And then, both are, even though they're both very carb-filled venues, very, full food, waffles there, pizza here, we think that they're distinguishable enough that people might go there for brunch, in the day, and then come back at night for a drink over here or over there. And then, have a nice pizza over here. And then also, if you have or haven't been there, more intimate over there. So definitely this is more, just looking around, the focus of more families and larger groups, definitely more space over here for that type of thing than over there.
Sure.
Family and more family kind of.
So is there a time of day where you feel like it's busier, or is it pretty consistent throughout the day?
I would say breakfast, brunch, lunch, kind of busier over here, more night crowd. We're hoping to reconstruct the menu over at Social Misfits to where it's not only known as that, because we have been known for that for so long. But yeah, as of right now, they're pretty much open similar times, and 7 days a week is what we're striving for here. We're just closed Tuesdays now, but we don't see, hopefully, any kind of negative impact or cannibalization. And obviously, these Wahlburgers was here right next to us before, and we felt like we did have two different crowds with that, the sports atmosphere that they had were, you know, over here, pizza and stuff, and just keeping the dinner stuff here. And yeah.
Do you have any breakfast pizzas?
No, actually, that's funny. That was one of the first things that Chef had talked about. There's a lot of stuff still being developed, but we have thought of a lot of fun ideas that play off one another. But currently, we do not have any over here because we are open at 11, so it's not really a lunch
How
breakfast.
often do you add new menu items?
So both places are just here?
Either way.
So we try and be seasonal. Our goal, and we haven't been able to get to that goal with Social Misfits yet, but this is the year that we are like, we're going to be quarterly releasing seasonal products on each menu, whether it's the same time, week, or a little bit apart. We are hoping to have a spring, summer, winter, fall seasonal, whereas staples will stay, new innovations will come, cocktails follow as well. The same time that those shifts happen, the same thing with cocktails, since we were both cocktail prominent at both spaces.
Yeah.
And then coffee items over at Social Misfits will change. So as of right now, since we just opened, we're still kind of seeing and the feedback from customers and what sells and what doesn't. So I think we're kind of new to make those changes just yet, but it's definitely on the radar for both spaces.
That's awesome. So how do you put that out there? Like, how do you guys promote that stuff on new items on social media?
Yes,
or?
yep. So I have the strategy of it with when marketing and operations are aligned and we're all ready, we're all go time. And a lot of times it doesn't happen the way you quite see it, right? A menu release, it's like, well, I'm ready, I've been over here. And then operations like, well, this has to take a back seat, even though we said it was here, but it's got to take a back seat. And I'm sure everyone in the industry can relate. That happens more frequently, you know, probably the most frequently, where one of us is ready and the other one is not, or our priorities aren't aligning. But we have an amazing loyal following at Social Misfits with email signature in our email club. And that is where I always push out information first. So if there's something that I'm very confident we will be rolling out sooner than later, I always push it there first. So I always drive people, sign up there, you'll be the first to know. And then usually social media is the afterfall where, okay, here's actually what's happening. And some people might say, oh, I've known about that for a couple weeks already, kind of a thing.
Because of the email.
Yes. And then I'm trying to do the same thing here with the Foolery, whereas right now we just have a landing page up to collect emails. So I tell people the same thing here, sign up here, any new releases, you will be the first to know over our socials. But if you're not an email person, you have a lot of day, totally understandable. I send once a month, which is pretty minimal, I think, at both. Then definitely follow us on social, and then you'll eventually see all those releases and highlights on there as well.
What other things can you find in that monthly email?
Any events upcoming, any kind of cool collaborations, partnerships we're trying to get into, a lot of transparent operational switches, such as, hey, reservations, we couldn't, now we can. Wait list, we couldn't, now we can. I look for those consistency reach outs on social. If we get the same emails asking for something, or the same, I get DMs on Instagram or Facebook all the time, and I'm like, hey guys, I keep getting people asking about online gift cards. I got to put something in the newsletter about it, and hopefully it'll help mitigate or clarify those things for people. So just kind of look for consistencies of feedback of what people are asking for the same way that they want to know, or give them a heads up. Hey, people are asking this, it's in the works, but it's not a thing yet, but we'll make it a thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So being downtown and you're close to everything, right? You got the Van Andel, you got Amway. So there's lots of local people, and there's also people kind of visiting the area. How do you attract the visitors?
So what I always say, I actually came from, my background was at Little Caesars Arena in downtown Detroit, so on the opposite side of the state.
Sure.
And I learned very quickly with marketing that it is so much easier to market and capitalize on a crowd that's already coming down. So I think it works in our favor knowing the events that are happening, because we can look for ways to do that, versus we're in the dead middle of summer and there's nothing going on here. Maybe there's more stuff going on the outer skirts of GR. It is going to be, I could say, hey, we're going to be serving up free pizzas all day, and that's not going to get anyone to come down here, find parking, if there's nothing else really that's going to draw them. So we kind of rely on those events, which I'm assuming, and hopefully most businesses do. We have a great partnership with Residence Inn, so we're kind of always in conversation of their occupancy, ours, kind of hoping to capture those hotel guests, because they get a lot of people that are not just in for town, but Residence Inns are known for those contractors that are here on long jobs. long jobs for weeks at a time. So all of their spaces in there actually have full rooms, built out kitchens, everything you could want overnight, from plateware and dinnerware and dishwashers. So they get people that will sit here, and we're like, do you want to walk somewhere? Do you want to just come right down and stay in the hotel and not even walk outside? And you have 2 great dining options now, in addition to room service. You know, if they don't want to, that's also part of our partnership to be able to send stuff up.
So you deliver to the residents in.
Yep. So Social Misfits, we always have. Foolery, we're almost close to tackle that, kind of taking one operational thing at a time. But I know they've been very excited that pizza, you know, who doesn't want to just sit and eat pizza in bed? Because I know I do whenever I travel. That
what is your delivery radius?
We don't have any outside of the hotel.
Okay.
The first thing we were put on a lot, Social Misfits, but then it was funny. We almost wanted to market it as in, why would anyone want a waffle in a box when they can come see the great space and atmosphere that we have in there?
Yeah.
So we kind of almost are like...
The experience,
yeah,
for sure.
and so the experience, we feel like, makes the majority part of everything that Social Misfits is, so people can understand why the waffle's named what it is. Look at the art and the decor and the pictures and the people we picked out on the wall to encompass that. So getting food to go, not only we're like, oh, okay, you're getting a deconstructed waffle, right? So we're like, cool. Getting a waffle, putting all this stuff in separate containers. We're like, they might get a little, all the power to everyone who wants to do that, but it's really, you know, more or less my job. Let's get people in here so they can be, oh, I get it now, kind of a thing. Pizza definitely travels better. We don't have any plans for delivery yet here because we're still testing that quality. And again, we don't want someone's first time trying our pizza to be a to-go pizza without coming in here before they kind of learn a little bit about everything about us first.
That's awesome, and it's about the experience. So
yeah,
I can see why you'd want people to come into the restaurant and just see it all for themselves, right?
Yes.
So do you have any partnerships or like plans to partner with other local businesses on like showcasing their products or your products kind of together?
Yep. So all last year, actually, one of my main goals in marketing, and was when I first was learning and making connections and relationships, was I love those types of partnerships that you can see, oh my gosh, their brands align. That totally makes sense. That's so cool. I have such high respect for this brand, and no way they're partnering with my favorite restaurant.
Yeah.
So I was kind of out to seek with those relationships and partnerships that made sense. Social Misfits, our first ones that I sought after was Naughty Betty, so we did events with them. They're a European lingerie boutique in the west side, and the owner Elise and all the Betty girls we've gotten a great relationship with, and we did where we brought some of them in to do burlesque, so we did a burlesque show, which was kind of fun and edgy and a little bit different, and we had them in a couple times last year, and a lot of it was entertainment focused, I think. And I want to highlight more of our food and beverage products. So one of my goals is I was like, we're Beer City. Why aren't we partnering with a brewery? Let's do something where they can come in, talk, display, maybe a dinner type stuff. So that's actually my goal this year for partnerships, to seek out those other food spaces so we can highlight our products together instead of just trying to focus on, okay, we're going to put on some shows and stuff for people in this space. I really think people will understand the why and maybe like, oh my gosh, this totally makes sense. And that's what my focus is on both spaces. And target goal is like one collaboration a month. That's really, you know, a long shot. Obviously, operations has, you know, we all have setbacks and stuff of where stuff goes and what I can do when we can only plan so much for, you know, mishaps like this weather storm that just happened a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Can't plan for that.
Yes. So as best as we can. But yeah, I'm definitely looking to do some fun stuff there. For instance, April Fool's Day is coming up. We kind of deem that as Foolery Day. So kind of be on the horizon for that. We kind of have some fun stuff in the works for that this year. But yeah, otherwise, just whatever opportunities come up and see what's fit. And if we can make something really cool out of it and showcase our food and beverage products even further, in addition to having a great partnership and having them also the opportunity, we can align pretty good, and I'm confident it'll be really, really fun fit and have everyone just have a fun time while we're doing it. So
that's awesome. So one of my favorite like local distilleries, Long Road, actually made maple syrup in bourbon barrels.
Wow.
And that was like the best maple syrup I've ever had.
Wow.
Right. And I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
I don't know that they're still doing it, but that would be an amazing like partnership.
Kind of a
so
thing.
They're a local distillery and your local restaurant. And I think that it would really blend well together.
Yeah.
And maybe, you know, Long Road, if they check this out, they'll consider bringing back the maple syrup.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, we do Woodland Maple. I cannot remember the name of the city, southeast east of us, about 40 minutes or so. I went to go on their farm. They have a maple syrup farm that they do that we've gotten ours from at Social Misfits, and theirs is a bourbon aged one too.
Awesome.
But yeah, that we've had partnerships, smaller family, all family ran too, and they're like, yeah, come to our sugar maple farm. It just never worked out for that stuff, but that's something. Yeah, we always are looking out for seeking those stuff that sometimes actually I should do better at highlighting that, right? If people don't know about that, then we should definitely highlight and touch up on those.
I think people at Grand Rapids specifically likes to support local and local ingredients, local products and shops and businesses, right? So I do think that matters to people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we have Chris Durso, our native, our GR native here, and director of operations for both spaces, is such a big component of that. And he has so many relationships and endless. So if there's anything that sees fit that someone wants to, hey, I see you guys are pizza. I have some dough I'm making. Sure, let's, get in talks with Chris. Let's see if it makes sense. Let's see quantity and how much for volume and stuff that we're doing. He's a big advocate. We all are for all those local supporting businesses and using their product within our spaces.
That's awesome. So what's your go-to breakfast at Social Misfits?
My absolute favorite waffle is a savory. I'm more of a savory person than a sweet.
Okay.
The RBG, which is if you're a fan of lox and cream cheese on a bagel, that is a twist off that. And we actually it's actually one where instead of a waffle coming in all four like you typically would, we kind of break it up into bread points more or less. So we put the 4 kind of on a plate like this. So it's a great shareable. And then we have cream cheese on there and smoked lox and then caviar. So we have like a trout roe that we even put on top of it a little bit. And it is just, it's very satisfying and filling for, I'm a bagel lover. So it's think about like, oh, waffle, but then you're like, wait, there is that bread component. It is almost similar and it's not too sweet and it is savory. And that's been my absolute favorite.
What about pizza?
So the pizza we have, I actually can name 2. So MCDC is my absolute favorite pizza. And I actually had a different one before I tried it. And that has fried chicken on it, bacon, green onion, buffalo sauce, and there's gorgonzola. So some people automatically might be like, I'm not a blue cheese fan, I'm going to refrain from it. And some people, when they think of blue cheese, they're like, oh, the dressing's so good. It's actually gorgonzola crumbles, but if you're a gorgonzola lover, there's a sharpness to it, which I love, very pungent, but I think it does amazing on a pizza that you wouldn't expect it. It's become my favorite pizza. And then the Big McCorkle is actually Spencer Raymond's the owner. And that's kind of a riff off of everyone's favorite iconic fast food chain sandwich, Big Mac, where we have sesame seeds, hamburger on a pizza. There's a little bit of relish, mac sauce, and we put shreddis on there. And you think like, okay, that's weird. Same thing that I'm sure a lot of people thought when we had the weird waffle combinations, but it works. And that's always one I send people home with or something if they've come in. They're like, oh my gosh, you're right. And it's just like easily such a nostalgic tasting. Like, it does taste like a Big Mac. That's amazing. And you wouldn't expect it. So
I think that just having different things on the menu, it's an experience, right? Just to have something different that you haven't had before, that you can't get anywhere else. And to have those options, there's so many different combinations of pizza and waffles that I wouldn't have put any of that stuff together. But I think I would try about half of them. So what's next for Social Misfits and The Foolery as like you evolve and add new things to the menu?
So we have in the works Social Misfits. I know one of the biggest things that almost became not kind of like a hindrance, but I think waffles can only go so far, right? We've been open for 2 years. We've seen what we can do. We've touched base on a lot of them. And we kind of have segmented ourselves almost so much in me on the SEO end with being known as breakfast and brunch all day, that we actually want to take a deep dive and reconstruct our menu over there. So where we're not just, oh, that's the waffle place, we got to go somewhere else because that's all they have. So we got an amazing executive chef on, Chef Brandon, who started with us, and he is first got this place up and running, and he is taking a deep dive over there to kind of see we can bring those shareable dinner, nighttime, late night elements over there. So that way people can kind of start getting something instead of just coming in for a cocktail night. They're like, oh yeah, actually I could actually pick at this or bring some friends in where it's not just, we're not feeling like waffles, so we can't go there. And then over here, we have a couple things in the works. We just started kind of testing out $5 hot slices to go. So kind of some deep dish pizza slices. Maybe some people come and they see, okay, this big, 8x10 pizza is not, it's going to fill, it's too much for lunch. Like, I just want something small. I want to get in and out. Okay, cool. So we kind of started testing out some of those hot slices that are going to be available soon, as well as our online ordering. And then we've been kind of R&Ding a little bit of gluten-free, because we know very much as Grand Rapids, we've heard you. We opened up with Social Misfits with the same thing, knowing that was always our intent, but had to get everything down to how we wanted it for quality first with our main, and the same thing, it will be in the works over here for the Foolery with the pizza. So that's something to look forward to in the coming months, we're hoping. So
that's awesome. I'm looking forward to a lot of it.
Yeah.
So you got the Social Misfits and you got the Foolery. Is there any other restaurants or businesses that you're involved in, or other plans to open?
Yeah, so great question. So we actually, if for those in Grand Rapids who might have been a fan of Social Misfits for a while, might not have been aware that we did open a coffee shop in Ann Arbor. That is more where Spencer resides, on that side of the state too. So that kind of hits him in a good nostalgic spot right downtown on South U of M campus. We have a coffee shop. We opened in March this past 2023, called Misfits Society Coffee Club. And for anyone who maybe frequents or has between the two cities, we have the same interior designers that we're on with there. So you can go in Social Misfits, and if you walk into Misfits Society Coffee Club, you're going to know, oh yeah, you can tell the same elements that we've done with the decor that they've taken, replicated over there. So that's just a coffee shop, though, not a full-service restaurant, but it makes sense for the college students right on U of M campus. We're solely student traffic. So ghost town in the summer over there, really, when there's not really a lot of classes. We learned that this summer. And then this is our third concept, the Foolery. So in the press, actually, with the Foolery, I kind of wrote that I felt like it was a great time. I was leading Spencer towards, okay, and people were going to say, what are you guys doing? Now you have three concepts. Spencer's vision, and when I started with him, May of 2021, he said, I want to own my own hospitality empire of sorts, hospitality group. I have a lot of ideas for concepts. I don't want to franchise them. And he never knew what he kind of wanted to call it, but we kind of, with Social Misfits and opening up Misfit Society, kind of wanted to keep the Misfit element attached to his concepts. Yeah. So we've deemed them Misfit Joints Hospitality Group. And now that we have our third concept, we're kind of just looking for any opportunities that kind of keep us going, pending the success of the restaurants, obviously, and concepts themselves that have brought us to this point. But like this was something we weren't even aware was going to happen until the space presented, and we said, let's go, let's jump on this. Yeah. So more to come on that hospitality group, possibly evolving over in the summer months of this year.
So the coffee spot, how do you make coffee different? Like, what are you doing there that I would want to travel there for coffee?
Yeah, so that is specific to, it's actually more targeted to Gen Z crowd. It's actually like a little bit of grungy, punky, edginess of that like 90s nostalgia. So you'll note that when you go over there, and it's funny because we have staff here that's like, why can't we have that over here? It's so cool. But we're like, for Grand Rapids, over here it's more, I see a lot of 25, 35. So the fact that it's just relying on a college town is a little bit different there. But we had actually one of our former baristas who actually moved back to Alaska. She was our lead barista here at Social Misfits. She curated the entire menu for us at Misfit Society before we launched, because she wanted those really edgy type of lattes. So if you're a coffee drinker and you like craft lattes, which the students geek over, right? They're big iced latte fans. We incorporated all of the same like house-made syrups, but we kind of had different edginess to names. So for instance, we have a brown sugar latte called the Sugar Daddy over there, and everyone thinks that's so cool. It's one of our top sellers. But specialty lattes over there all day. We have different names and different ingredients that you normally wouldn't see in garnishes, kind of a little bit elevated as well there. But we do dine-in and to go over there for coffee. We have some pastries and light stuff. Burritos, we sling burritos all day. Those are always good with college students too.
Well, that's not just coffee then. I think that's a lunch spot, right?
Yeah. Breakfast, lunch. Yeah, you're right. It just depends on what the students and what people are feeling. But yeah, we do have some good food offerings over there too.
Well, thank you for sharing, Megan, with all the exciting options that you have on all of these menus. I think there's something for everybody. And being right downtown Grand Rapids, I think that's super convenient. Stopping by after a Griffins game or a concert at the band, which I'm sure people do, right?
Absolutely.
But it's really exciting and for you to share all of that and what you guys are doing in his vision for restaurants. So
thank you. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. We'd love to be a part of it. So glad for it. We appreciate you coming out. Now we got to get you a pizza, huh?
We've got to try something, right? Yeah. Thank you to all of our subscribers and our listeners, and thank you for joining us today on the podcast, Megan. To enter to win that $25 gift card to both Social Misfits and $25 to the Foolery, subscribe to our channel, follow us on TikTok or Instagram, and then comment or send me a message with the word Kung Fu, which is in reference to their hilarious sign in the front when you walk into the Foolery. So thanks again.
My pleasure.
This
Thank
is
you.
great.
Thank you.